Hi guys, I'm just going to show you today how to do some printing. This is some printing work that we would have done in year 3 and in year 2. It's kind of mixed together. So first of all we're going to do some mono printing. Can you say that for me? Mono printing! And then we're going to have an experiment making some negative and positive stencil prints on top as well. So first of all I've got some acrylic paint, red, pink and orangey yellow. I've got some leaves because we're going to use some leaves first to make our print. I've laid my leaves on just a pizza box, but if you have a large glass chopping board that would be even better. But I'm just using this because that's what I've got to hand, and I know at the moment we're just using anything we've got, haven't we? Because we can't get to school to get the art supplies. So first of all, you lay out your leaves, making sure that you've got the back side of the leaf facing you, because it is the back side that has the most veins on, the most bumpy bits, and that is what we need to use to make our print with. So I'm going to first of all get my sponge, and I'm going to sponge on some acrylic paint on top of my leaves. This will make them move a little bit, so I'm going to have to rearrange them probably a little bit as I go along. But anyway, this is the first step. So I'm sponging on my paint anywhere I want to make a bit of a mottled colour. Where the colours touch, they're going to mix and make a new colour. I think I'll get a bit of red in now. What happens when you mix red with yellow? What colour do you get? Okay, I think that's okay for now. So I'm just going to wash my hands. Okay, so the next bit is to make our first print using this background. So we get our sheet of paper and we are going to put it over the top of our leaves and press down. Now we need to press really firmly. Press down really firmly. You can see the veins of the leaf starting to appear in creases on the back of your page, and that will tell you that you're pressing down firmly enough. You need to make sure you don't go too light on this stage. You have to go really heavy in order for a good print to happen. By the way, while we're doing this, just have a think about the word mono print. I wonder if you can tell me what the prefix mono means. I'm not going to tell you, I want you to think about it. I know if you're in year 3, especially shout out to Lucas in year 3, I know he can give me a really great definition of what the prefix mono means. Think about what you've learned in RE. The opposite of mono is poly. So what does mono mean? What does poly mean? And what might that tell you about this kind of printing if it's called a mono print? If you want to tell me an answer, you can email me at school. Thank you. Okay, let's have a look and see how our first part of the printing is coming out. Right, okay, so let's take these leaves off. Oh, I love those hydrangea leaves there. Right, so we can see that we have some of the imprints of the leaves already printed on our piece of paper. Okay, so that's step 1. Now while that is drying, I'm going to put that over to one side. We need to have a go at making a leaf stencil. So we've got some small sheets of paper here. Any old paper will do for this. If we fold it in half, make your corners match up and then fold a line across, fold it in half lengthways. We can do that with a few of them. Make sure all these pieces of paper have the folded edge at the bottom nearest us, so the open side at the top. Okay, so all the open sides are at the top and the folded edge is at the bottom. Now we can draw half a leaf shape on this, so that will help us cut out a leaf stencil. So if I was to draw half a leaf shape, it's a bit like a half a moon or a rainbow shape with a bit of a point at the end. So I start in one corner, I can draw up and down, and that is half a leaf shape. So then if I cut that out following the line that I've drawn, then I end up with a leaf that is missing and a leaf that is filled in the middle. So I've got two leaves now. Let's try another one. If you want to be adventurous, maybe you could try doing a bit of an ivy shaped leaf with a point at the top and then a point at the side. So let's try and cut that one out. And now we have an ivy shaped leaf that is missing and an ivy shaped leaf that is there. Let's just do one more. Maybe you might want to do one which has zigzaggy edges, a bit like our hydrangea leaf here. So we could do little zigzaggy shapes that follow that arc pattern. And then if we cut that out, now we have a hydrangea style leaf that is there and one that is missing. So you could call this a negative shape because it is missing, and this one a positive shape because it is there. However, when we use these and put paint inside them, the negative shape will create a positive stencil because it will make a leaf that is visible. And if we use the positive shape, we can make a negative stencil, a negative print, because if we put paint around the edge of this shape, it will make a leaf shape which has a missing part in the middle, negative space. Okay. So now I want to make these prints over the top of this one to make a layered effect on our picture. And I want to use contrasting colours to the ones we've used. We've used warm autumnal colours, my favourite, but this time we're going to use some greens, green and a bright yellow, which we can mix together. And this will make a sort of spring-like element to our picture, because it is spring, we don't want it to look entirely autumnal. So I'm going to put some green here. And I'm going to put some yellow. I think I will start with my favourite ones, if I'm honest, are the negative images. So we need to use a positive stencil to create a negative image. So I'm going to use this one first, and I'm going to put it over, a little bit overlapping some of the leaves we've already made. So I'm going to use my brush, and I'm going to use an effect called Stippling, which is where you dab the paint over the edge. So I'm going to get a bit of yellow first on my brush, and then I'm going to stipple. I'm going to hold my stencil still and stipple around the edge with paint that will overlap the paint we've already used. Now I want to bring in a bit more of that green colour, so I'm going to take some green, just a little bit, and I'm going to mix it in with my yellow by stippling it together. Now it's a bit overpowerful there, so I'm going to get some more yellow and mix it in again. So now let's see what happens when we take away our positive stencil, revealing a negative print. There you can see we've got the outline of the leaf, but the middle of the leaf is missing, and I like that because it shows what we've done underneath through it. Okay, I'm going to try another. Well, actually, first of all, maybe I will try one of these negative stencils that will produce a positive image. Now, this is going to make a block of colour, so I don't want it to be too heavy over some of these lovely prints I've already made. So I'm going to use it in a space here. just going to use that space there, I think, to add my positive image. So again, I don't want it too heavy, so I'm going to go with yellow first, stippling on the inside. If I take my stencil away, it should reveal a positive image. There, you can see it's a positive leaf because it's a filled in leaf. Okay, I'm only going to do one of those because I prefer these empty shapes because I like to see what's underneath. So now I'm going to try the same shape, but I'm going to use the other part so that I can have a negative image of this, a negative print of the same leaf. I always prefer things to be in odd numbers. At the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'd like it to be 5, 3, 5 or 7 is always the best if you ask me. So I'm going to do another one here to make it 5 instead of 4. So now I think I've done enough experimenting with my positive and my negative images. Ordinarily it would be best to let this dry, but I just want to show you what you can do next. So I've got here some text. Now you could use any text to rip up and stick down on your picture just to add a little bit of interest, but I thought, why not make this a bit more specific to the picture that we're doing? So we've been using leaves as our stimulus for this picture, so why don't you have a go at writing your own leaf poem? Now we've had an amazing poet into our school, Ash Dickinson, who came to do a special poetry day, and I was amazed by the wonderful poems that he got you guys to write, and especially with year 6 he taught us how to write a shadorma. Okay, so a shadorma is a poem that is based on a syllable pattern, a little bit like a haiku. So in a shadorma you have a syllable pattern of, on the first line you have 3 syllables, then you have 5, then 3, 3, 7, and then 5 again. So that's 3, 5, 3, 3, 7, and 5. Remember, a syllable is when you're saying a word, if your chin touches your hand, if I said syllable, that is 3 syllables in the word syllable. So I had a go at writing a little poem, a shadorma about leaves, and this is my one. It says, leaves, emerging, bravely opening within this complex world like fresh signs of dauntless hope, living, breathing, strong. And I wrote it like that because I feel like at the moment the world is so odd and so scary and so difficult, and yet the leaves are coming out, but even though they look so delicate, it seems like they're really brave. They seem like a sign of hope at the moment. So that's why I used that one. So I'm going to tear up my poem because I only want some of these words on a little torn piece of paper, and I'm going to stick that on my picture, my background, just using Prick Stick. So I'm going to try to get some of my favourite words. I like this idea as well of just some words from a line that you've written or read, because it's almost like an echo of something, and it makes the person looking at your picture think, oh, what does that say? And they want to find out more. Right, so once you've done that, now it's time for us to use some water-based paints. Again, we could use these inks that I showed you last time. Oops, make sure you get your lid back on your glue. Or any light translucent water-based paints will be excellent for this. So, now when you do this bit, you don't need much colour at all. You need lots of water and not much colour because you want it to be see-through, jewel-like and translucent. Okay. So first of all, I think I'm going to go for another contrasting colour. I'm going to go for blue. So I'm going to go for this peacock blue here. Just let me check, yeah, that's the right colour. Now that is very strong, so I'm just going to add a bit of water to my background first. I think I'm going to put it over here. I want to make sure that the colours I use in the background are going to shine through. So I could add a little bit of blue here, but perhaps I'm going to merge it into purple. Now you could allow your text to become coloured as well, or you can leave it white, it's up to you. I like the way the paint has just gone on the edges of my words there. I think that's pretty much finished. We've got a multi-layered piece there, we've got our monoprint in the background, we've got our negative images and our positive images over the top, we've got contrasting colours, we've added in our text, our poems, so we've given it texture. I think that's really nice. Now you could do this, you could make loads of these and add them together in a rainbow shape, again to put in your window to brighten people's day. You could try doing this on washed plain 100% cotton, and you can see your colours bleeding into the cotton that way. That would be an amazing effect if you want to try that. If you're adventurous and you have done this on material, or even if you haven't and you've done it on paper, you could have a go at sewing into it as well. You could add 3D elements, you could add wire coming out of it that you've poked through from the back to the front. You could do almost anything with these. I would love to see some of your experiments and some of your results. So if you want to email them to me, please email them to me at school email address, and it will get passed on to me. So have fun. See you soon.